What's going on, everyone? My name's Tenebris Infinite, and the latest Generation Zero player survey is out. This is the regular end of the year survey that we get every year that just asks us about how we feel about past updates and features that were added throughout the year, as well as giving us maybe some slight spicy hints towards what's going to be coming next year. So we're going to go through the survey and just kind of bang it out, skip past some of the boring questions and get to the really interesting stuff here in the survey, because there's a number of things that I think are pretty credible here and are things that I want to know what you dudes think about it too. So if there's anything that you want to sound off about, please do in the comments down below. So skipping ahead some of the more generic questions, just how long we've played and, how often we play and what our favorite things are and stuff like that. But instead, skipping ahead here to some of the more interesting questions, the general performance of Generation Zero never really gets to me, but I think that the performance of Generation Zero really strongly affects console players mostly instead of PC players, so that's part of the reason why I don't have as many qualms with these questions here. But the one thing that I do have a bit of an issue with is the co-op multiplayer feature, and I'm sure some of you dudes maybe have experienced the same thing, where you have to make yourself online and open to everyone in order to invite people into your game, and sometimes that could get a little bit messy and you can wind up with randos popping into your game and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's maybe a just me thing or if that affects you dudes too, but that's part of the reason why I kind of disagree on the co-op multiplayer feature thing here. And on the next page, there's one question that kind of sticks out to me, and that's the character creation question here. Character creation has the options I need to create the character I want to play as. And I only somewhat agree. I actually was kind of thinking about talking about the character creation here in Generation Zero and how it could maybe do with a bit of a do-over. So this is kind of spurring me on to make that video there. Coming on through to player engagement here, there's just one question from this one too, but I don't feel appropriately rewarded for the time and effort I spend in the game. And again, this is a somewhat agree, because it's like, we get a lot of loot, but once you reach the end of that loot, that's kind of the end of things. So, I actually have my own ideas, and again, just like hinting towards videos that are all just sitting on the Tenebris back burner, I guess. Not too much to say for the next page of looking back, except for a couple of the things that we don't have the opportunity to look back on. The crafting and economy revamp and the schematic tree. Those are things that I'm really excited to find out about, though. And here we go. This is the reason why I wanted to turn this one into a video. So if you've watched my content since New Dawn, you probably know by now, but I'm not a huge fan of the revised intro in the game. I just feel like tonally, some things don't match up to what Generation Zero is, or at least what I perceive Generation Zero to be. And I think, namely, the number one thing is purely Therese. And I hate to single out the character, but I just really feel like Therese does not jive in the atmosphere of Generation Zero. This is probably something else that I could make a whole video on, but I'm just going to kind of leave it at that I don't feel like Therese matches the atmosphere. But I do actually enjoy Pontus, and I enjoy the story of Swedish soldiers surviving. So I do think that there's some good to be taken out of New Dawn, and it's not like the entirety of New Dawn is bad. I feel like it's pretty much just Therese. Okay, but here is where we're getting into the stuff that made me want to make a video on this. So, NPC companions. Man, in 2023, who knows? We might actually wind up seeing NPC companions come to the game. But I've kind of ordered everything here in my level of preference. Social interaction is an interesting one. I think something that would be really cool for NPC companions would be the ability to like command them in the middle of combat. So that kind of ties into the social interaction thing a little bit. But outside of that too, I think that there could be a lot of fun with like learning about an NPC companion, whether it's a machine or a human or, you know, whatever the heck. And then the last one was travel, but that would be much higher up if this were a machine companion. Absolutely. And then the last thing, if it's human NPCs, freaking card games, man, let's go. Play a game of blackjack with the avalanche cards. It would be excellent. So it would be really cool to see the skills get revamped and maybe even expanded on in the future, dudes. And I think we can all agree that the support tree is kind of not the most useful skill tree here in the game. It's not like it needs to be removed, but maybe its abilities could just be made general abilities so that you could play a support role, but you wouldn't need to spec into a skill tree to do so. But I think the biggest room for improvement in regards to skill trees is making them have the ability to match an 1,000-hour playthrough somehow. And I know that that's a crazy thing, but I just feel like it's a bit of a shame for us longtime players that have been playing for years here, where it's like, you know, the moment we hit level 31, that was the end of it. And even though we can gain new levels here, it's not a new form of progression. And so if the skills get revamped, that would be the number one thing I would love to see. So this question's kind of confused me, but in the end, I always need crafting resources, so that's always going to be number one, man. Now for the audio and visuals, for the music and the UI, those are the two things that I kind of want to talk on. For music, we need new music, man. We absolutely need new, like, full-on combat music, general music, you know, menu music, all of it, dude. I think that music is something that could be really, really improved in the game. But then, on the other hand, UI, that's something that we see constantly improved, but I think still could have a bit of room to be improved even further and just kind of brought and synergized all together. So that's why I'm putting that one as satisfied as opposed to very satisfied. But I am very satisfied with the fact that it's been like a years long effort to make the UI just look absolutely poppin'. Machine Pet as a DLC? Still, buddy. Anyway, the only thing that I'm not agreeing with here in the terms of DLC is the shortcuts. I really don't think that we need those in the game, and I don't think that they're good for video games as a whole, but I don't need to get on that podium. But the NPC companion machine pet, yeah, man, that would be really dope as a DLC, and I could see it offering like a ton of really cool options to the game. And then coming on down to the DLC prices here, I feel like pretty much all the prices are fair, except for the camo weapon skins pack. For that, I feel like at most it should be like $2, which would be like €1 or something like that. But I feel like they should be incredibly cheap for weapon skins. So this question's a big one, but I decided to answer it just kind of simply right now. But I would open up a new island to really freshen things up. I've pitched out a couple ideas on how the different islands could be used over the span of this year. And I have more ideas for how these islands could be used that I plan on going over in the future. But that's just like the big thing that I would change right now in Generation Zero, is opening up some new terrain and new landmass for us to go off and explore. So there we go, my dudes. We are now at the end of the survey, signing off with the classic "Stay Golden, Ponyboy" to the team. But I want to know, dudes, what do you think about all of this stuff? What do you think about New Dawn? What do you think about the past features? What do you think about the upcoming features that have been hinted at here in the survey, like machine companions or the changes to crafting and stuff? Please let me know all of your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below. But for now, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I will catch you all in the next one. Until then, peace.